Hello Internet, so nice to see you. Music theory for guitar. It's not the same as music theory for piano. I know that this may look like an obviously wrong statement, but consider just for a moment that all the books on music theory, written up to a certain point in history and very recently, were books written by piano player for an audience of other piano player, meaning that all the people involved in writing the book and in reading the book or teaching the content of the book were proficient piano players. As such, most of the music theory we are taught in general is music theory for piano. It's adapted to that specific instrument. Now, if you go and study something like orchestration, for instance, you will realize that music theory does not work exactly the same when you get outside of the piano. And specifically, when you start to apply music theory to this instrument, to a guitar, music theory may look completely different. Indeed, a big part of my job and something that is becoming more and more common in my line of work is to help piano players to make sense of this instrument, even if they already know theory, even if they already know where to find the notes on guitar, they seem to not be able to make sense of the guitar by themselves. And this happens because, again, they know a slightly different version of music theory. So let me show you a part of a lesson I gave to a student that has a background in piano and keyboard, where we go through all those differences between music theory for guitar and music theory for piano and how we should approach guitar in a completely different way. You have a background in keyboard. Now, you would expect music theory to be exactly the same for every instrument. After all, it's music theory, right? I mean, ask around, ask any YouTuber, okay? They will tell you, no, music theory is the same for every instrument. You can learn it and you can use it on any instrument. Well, that is true in principle. Yes. Well, it's not true in practice. It's like, yes, in theory and practice are the same, but in practice, theory and practice are two different things, right? So, that's the thing. Because the logic behind the guitar is completely different than the logic of the piano.
Yes.
Okay. So while the concepts are the same, you still have notes, scales, chords, chord progression, hitting the chord notes. You have the same principles, but when you apply them, you think about those things in a completely different way, with a different modality of thinking. Okay. Again, on piano, everything is linear. Everything is on the same line, and you have the same module repeating the octave. That works great, okay? On the guitar, we don't have something linear. We have 6 lines or 7 or 8 or 9, depending on the guitar you own, typically 6, okay? And they are tuned with specific intervals between them. So now you are not thinking about repeating the same pattern anymore. You are thinking in shapes, okay?
Yes.
It's what, again, on YouTube they like to call intervals, when they're not really intervals, etc., etc. But think about when you were first learning on the piano, okay?
Also frustrating.
Totally, because, I mean, every time you play a major scale, it's a completely different pattern of white keys and black keys. I mean, there's logic behind it, I'm not saying no, but the first time you do it, you're thinking, who the hell made this mess, okay? Why they couldn't do the keyboard in a different way? I mean, okay.
Exactly.
On the guitar, the pattern for a major scale is pretty much the same. It's the same. Okay, so pattern for a major scale is always that. You just move it up and down. We get disadvantage on the piano, okay? We get, our pattern can be reused in any key. On the piano, you can't. Okay,
yes.
Every chord, every scale is different. On the guitar, every chord and every scale is the same, but you have more than one shape per chord or per scale.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a balance. Okay, it's because the two instruments have been made to optimize different things. The piano optimizes linearity and absolute pitch. Guitar optimizes, if you want, multiple lines at the same time, so shapes and relative pitch.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So the whole way of thinking is different. But I mean, rather than making a long speech and try to penetrate the secrets of the guitar by lots of mystical mumbo jumbo, the best way is to sit down and practice every little thing until you, to your satisfaction, you understand what's going on.
Yes.
Okay? Make sense?
Yes. So more playing and not trying to cram it.
It's literally more playing, less thinking, and think after you play. Okay?
Okay.
It's a different instrument. Okay? And as you're gonna see, once you know a bunch of shapes, you can improvise simply fooling around with those shapes, which is both
That's
a
true.
curse and a blessing. Okay? It's a blessing because it's way easier for us to improvise than in any other instrument. Because you just get the pattern and follow it. The curse is that it's much harder for us to understand what's going on inside the pattern, because it's so easy to do it with the pattern that you never actually think to break it down until somebody tells you, okay? If you want to know more about all that, I recommend you guys check out my course, Complete Chord Mastery. Complete Chord Mastery, it's not a book. It's a complete video course that takes you from the basics up. We do everything you need to know about harmony and chords on your guitar. All the theory is done straight on the fretboard. There is no theory for the sake of theory here. Everything is immediately practical, and everything is developed through exercises, so you know how to apply these immediately on your guitar. If you have just a minute, click on the link on the top right to check out Complete Chord Mastery. If you like this video, smash on that like button and don't forget to subscribe and click on notification, otherwise YouTube will not let you know when I put up a new video. And if you have any comment, feedback, suggestions, write them down in the comment. I enjoy reading from you and I make videos on your suggestions. This is Tommaso Zilio of musictheoryforguitar.com, and until next time, enjoy!